Jared Polin was right. Now, we're not going to make this weird. I can already see myself losing like 300 subscribers. But hey, even a clock that's not set is right 2 times out the day. Now, what was he right about? Stick around. We'll get back to that later. But what's going on, everybody? Ryan Troy back with another video for you today. And in this video, we will be going over my first impressions with the Canon R5, along with the next 2 teaser trailers we have for the Nikon Z9. And believe it or not, I will make these 2 topics correlate. Disclaimer. If you are here because you want to make a decision on if you should buy the Canon R5, this is the wrong video. I spent 2 hours with it and I wouldn't feel right recommending it or not recommending it. So my friend Jonathan Michael is a Nikon D850 shooter and he wants to switch to mirrorless, but he wants to leave Nikon. Thanks, Jared. So he did the responsible thing, which I'm actually proud of him. He decided to rent out the Canon R5. So he had it last weekend and he invited me to come along with him and use it for myself. And I brought my Z7 too, so he can check that out as well. So he could get a feel over both camera systems. And in that way, if he wanted to come the Nikon route, he wouldn't have to sell all his lenses and, you know, just come on over. That was my goal, was to try to persuade him into doing it. But I also wanted to make content. Now, I don't have most of the content that I made because of technical difficulties. So just take my word for it, I guess. I'm going to show you some pictures that I've taken as well, but we did go live, and when we went live for like 2 hours. All of that is uncut, pure. You get to see everything. I'll have it right here for you. Make sure you check that out. You'll get probably way more information than that because you'll see us using it in real time. So when I did that live, a little bit after that, you know, one of my fellow photographers that actually shoots Nikon and Canon, he actually sent me this voice message on Instagram. I want you to take a listen and then we're going to break this down.
Hey Ryan, just wanted to hit you up real quick and just tell you, explain a little bit better audibly, verbally, what I liked about the R5. The game changing modes here are, you can map the buttons on the back of the Canon, right? And you can have it set in continuous focus, right? Keep it in continuous focus. And then you can set a button to be autofocus for single point. And then you can have a button on the back mapped for eye auto detection. So basically it allows you to switch between those 2 modes like seamlessly. Say for instance, we're taking standard portraits of you. I hit the AF on button. Now I'm hitting your eyes. I'm tracking your eyes. And then you say, Robert, I'm gonna hold my Nikon camera out in front of me. Can you just focus on the camera and then blur me? Well, I just take my thumb and move it to the other button, and it automatically goes to the single point where I can just put it on your camera. That is a game changer. The other feature that it has that Nikon does not have is the ability to do what they call touch and drag. And this is for when you have your eye up to the viewfinder. And again, say for instance, I don't know, you're about 15 feet away, 20 feet away. For some reason, the camera is acting quirky and the eye auto detection is not detecting your eyes. Well, with the touch and drag, there is a focus square that always stays on the screen. So with it up to my eye, and if depending on if you're left-handed or right-handed, I'm right-handed, so I have the right side of my screen while the viewfinder is up to my eye. It's almost like a trackpad. So I just rub my hand along the right side and put that square right on your face, and then boom, keep taking pictures. Game changer.
Now, Jared Polin told me that if I think the Nikon autofocus system is a real good auto system, then it's clear that I haven't tried Canons and Sonys. And he's right, I didn't. I've been shooting Nikon ever since I started photography, and I never gave any of the other systems a chance. So I can honestly say right now, after trying out the Canon R5, that Canon's autofocus system is better than Nikon's. It's really better than Nikon.
What are we on right? Are we on eye autofocus? Because it's just on the face. Good. Nice. Kind of look over to your left. Yep. Nice. It hasn't hit the eye once yet.
Now, we tried this out in a shady environment. I know how good Nikon does in the light, but we tried it with a little bit of shade because a lot of the videos he put out, he was showing how it wouldn't get the eye in the shade with the eye autofocus. Now, let's get back into this voice message that Robert sent me. Now, when I was listening to it, it became real clear, and I don't understand how this hasn't really became clear to me before, but these issues, what he's talking about, these game changer, benefits of shooting with the R5 doesn't really come down to hardware. It is literally 100% software. It is a software that he feels makes the camera as good as it is. Now, keep in mind, there are times where software can go good with hardware, but at the same time, it's other times where they kind of don't go good together. Now, what I mean by that is Canon's eye autofocus system showed me the eye every single time. It locked on. When she moved, it picked it up and everything. But when I was going through the photos, the eye seemed a tad bit softer. And that's what I mean when I say software. Now, what we're looking at on that screen, that's software, but in order for the camera to be in focus, it actually has to focus. That's the hardware part. It actually has to focus. So just because the software can spot the eye and everything like that, doesn't mean that it's always getting it right when you look at it, just because it has a little box over the eye. I understand about the customizable buttons that the Canon R5 have, but once again, that is a software thing. Think about it. If you was to take away the software, the ability to be able to customize it, then those buttons that you have will be worthless, right? Well, that's kind of sort of what we have on the Nikon side. Yeah, sure, we can customize things, but we can't customize every single thing that we want to customize to the buttons that we have. And another thing that I really personally don't like about the Canon R5, don't get me wrong, I don't want to make it seem like I feel the Canon R5 is a bad camera. It is a really great camera, and I'm pretty sure that these Sony cameras are really great as well, but I haven't used the Sony camera. All of these systems pretty much do every single thing the same. The only difference that we really have in these cameras are the way they feel in your hands and the software that it uses. I mean, we can go into glass and all of that, but I haven't heard anybody complain about Nikon glass. I haven't heard anybody complain about Canon's glass, and I haven't heard anybody complain about Sony's glass as well. So that's something totally different. But when I come into Lightroom, because that's what I use Lightroom to edit my photos. When I come into Lightroom, I will be honest with you, I don't like the fact that they don't have Canon color profiles. So the way Canon decides to color their photos, how can I see that when I get my RAWs in? And I had a couple of my friends, a couple months ago, and they were like, I'll start shooting in JPEG because when I go with the RAW files, the JPEGs look so much better than the RAWs. And I'm like, no. And at this point, I didn't know this. And I made a video. I will link that right here as well. I made a video showing you how you can get your color profile of your camera to be on your photo. That way it looks exactly like it looks once you've taken a photo. That's when I found out that the mirrorless Canons do not allow this to happen. And for me, I'm sorry, but that's a game changer, I guess, in a bad way, considering that Canon's mirrorless been out for a while now, not the R5, but there are others, and it's no support for that. And I think but once again, this is a software issue as well. This could come out tomorrow, and my opinion on this whole subject will change. So you get what I'm saying? When it comes to this, software controls so much, and it literally can change the next day. So how I feel about this one particular subject can change tomorrow if Canon gave them their color profiles. But I use Lightroom, and all the files that I got from Canon, I did not touch them because I hate the way Adobe Color looks. And even when I use my presets on the Canon files, it did not look the same. It didn't look the same at all. So to me, that's like a deal breaker when it comes to this. I love Nikon colors, and the fact that I could take photos, I don't have to rely on taking a JPEG. I could take a RAW photo, put the Nikon color profile on it, Boom, it looks exactly how it looked when I showed the client, when it was like, oh my God, it looks so great. It looks just like that. So that's one big thing for me when it comes to the Nikon. Now let's get into the Nikon Z9 and what I want in the next 2 trailers of it. Now from the first 2 trailers, a lot of y'all let me know that y'all wasn't really impressed by what they shown. Y'all left in the comment section things that you would want to see in the next teaser trailer, and I'm just going to tell you what I think that we need to see at this point. I want to see software. I want to see a whole software overhaul. I need to see something totally different. Okay, I want to be able to customize our buttons the same way Robert spoke about how Canon was able to customize their buttons. I want everything to be software, because let me explain something to you. When it comes to people saying, okay, show me the autofocus, show me the autofocus, that is a software related thing. If I want you to think about this, if Nikon was to get their software right to where it can track your eye the way it's supposed to track your eye and all of this, if it was a dedicated function button that switched between different autofocus modes, right? What would we be talking about here? What would it be? And this is something that could be on the Z7 II, the Z6 II. This isn't, we don't need a new camera to have better autofocus. What we need is new software. We need better software in order to have that. And I always come back to the phone situation. The way Apple works with their software and their hardware on their phone always made it good. I mean, we're talking Android 2021, it's really good. But if we think about Android back in the day, their software did not complement their hardware. Android phones always had the best top of the line hardware, but when you went through their phone, it felt clunky. That is because of software. That's what I'm saying. So with the Z9, what I really want to see is software. I want Nikon to work on that. Give us the camera that's good from here on out. Work on software, because once the software changes, if it changes tomorrow, what can you say? You cannot say anything. Why? Because it takes phenomenal pictures. Everybody agrees with that. They have great glass. Everybody agrees with that. The only thing people are talking about is things that make it better when taking a photo. Okay, if you want to take these cameras and go way back in the day with them, and let's say you want to go to the 80s or whatever, you can do manual focus with all of these cameras and get a good image. So that's not the problem. The problem is people want to be able to do this easier. People want, and I don't fault them for it. If another brand can do it easier, of course, you're going to want the same thing from your brand. I get it. I understand that 100%. So work on software. I want to see something different. I am used to the Nikon menu system and everything, but if you feel you need to redo that, if you need to get some new people into the company, you know, to work on this, to get this better, then I'm sorry, you're just going to have to do that, because that's literally the only thing that people can complain about. That is it. Once that's fixed, I hands down, once Nikon's software side is fixed, what camera's better? Let me know in the comment section below. This is Ryan Troy, and I will see you guys later. Peace.